Hello everyone, today I'm starting more native flower seeds using the winter sowing method again. I have already prepared all of my jugs, cutting them in half and filling them with potting soil. I have the seeds that I want to sow right here. So these are different than the ones that I have already sold on January 15th. These required a 30-day cold moist stratification, and I decided to start them a little later just so I could collect some more jugs. I have enough now, so I decided that I'm gonna go ahead and start them anyway. If you start them a little bit sooner, they get a little bit more cold stratification. It's not a problem. It should be okay. So I'm going to start this 6 new varieties, which I'm gonna go over with you right now. I have here I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing this. I'm already going to put a disclaimer. I might not be saying that right, but I'll show the pack with the name. This one is the Calico Beardtongue, so it's kind of like a native foxglove shape. And I'm very excited for this because it does very well in shaded areas. So I'm planning to plant this in a lot of the shaded spots in our garden. And I have never seen this plant. I'm excited to actually see it bloom in the garden, how nice it looks. And I'm also starting some Joe Pye Weed. This is the sweet one, which gets really tall, but I wanted to get tall on purpose. The ones that I saw in North Carolina and I thought they were very beautiful with tons of butterflies were this variety here, the tall one. So I'm gonna give this one a try. And this is also shade tolerant, so it can be planted in full shade. And I'm planning to put them around the shaded areas of my garden too. And I have this blue vervain, very nice long purple spikes. This one I'm planning to plant around the pond. Then I have this Pearly Everlasting that it's supposed to be a great cut flower and dries well too, so I can use that for some dried flower crafts at the end of the year. And this one I am still deciding if I'm going to plant only around the pond or also dedicate some space to it in my cut flower beds. It'll depend on how many of it germinates, but we'll wait until then to make the decision. And then I also have some lupine. This variety here is called Sundial Lupine, and this is the only one that had at the Purpureum website, and it's supposed to be a light purple lavender color. So we're going to start some of these too and see how it goes. This one actually only needs 10 days of cold moist stratification, but since I have 6 jugs, I decided to start to put this out as well. And this also needs a different treatment, which is scarification, which means we have to kind of damage the seed and make a little scar or puncture the seed somehow so that it's easier for it to germinate. So we're also going to be doing that. And last but not least, we have some Anise Hyssop. I heard that they're very easy to grow, so that's it. Those are the ones that I'm going to start. And since I have this one in my hand, I will do this one first. I have already tagged my jugs too, so I'm just gonna move this to the side. I wanted to just get all prepared before I start filming, so I like to put a tag inside. And I'm also going to write the name of the variety outside of the jug. If you want to see a more detailed video of me doing that, you can watch the video from January where I started the first round of native seeds. I'll make sure to link it up so you can watch that if you're curious. So we're gonna start here with the Anise Hyssop, and I just read here on the back that it needs to be surface sown, so we don't wanna add any extra potting soil on top. I'm just going to put the seeds in my hand. They're very small seeds. Here's how they look, a bit like basil seeds, I think, in my opinion. And then I'm just going to get this and scatter around. I'm gonna sow all of the seeds this time very thickly and hope that some of them germinate. If most of them germinate, I'll try to separate them too. And then now I'm just going to lightly press the surface. This potting soil is pre-moistened, so it's nice and moist in here, not too wet, but I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more water. I like to do a little spray on the top to kind of make sure the surface stays really moist. And here we go, we have a first jug that's ready to close. That was easy because of surface sown. Now I'm going to look at this other one here, the Beardtongue. And this seed pack say that we have 500 seeds. So the seeds must be tiny, 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 tiny. I tried growing some of the non-native foxglove. Oh, there's not too many, doesn't look like too many. And it just germinated like crazy. I sprinkled stuff in the soil and almost every seed germinated. I hope that I have the same luck with this variety here. This one I'm just gonna sow about half of the seeds because I'm gonna try to do an experiment with trying to cold stratify this with soil blocking. And this, because they're so small, I'm going to surface sow as well. Just sprinkle some of the seeds over the soil. I'm going to also, look, my hands are clean, I'm just going to also just lightly press in here, make sure we have some good seed to soil contact. Clean my hands. Again, just spray some water, just so we can get even more moisture on the top of the soil. And actually, I should already label the jugs as well, because it's good to see, you know, what it is outside when you're outside, and then once you open, if that, in case it washed off, you have another tag in here. But if you don't put anything, you don't know what the seedlings are, and I like to know. So I'm just going to also label the top, and this time I'm going to put the date. I don't think I put the date on my last one, but I'll put on this. Oh, one more thing I want to say real quick before I forget. I meant to say that in the beginning of the video, but I just remembered, is that Greenstock is having a sale for their spinners. So if you have a Greenstock planter and you want to buy the base that spins, the ones that I have, that makes it easy to just rotate it around, they'll be doing a flash sale, one-day sale today only on their website. So I'll put my link underneath in the description box below. They do these accessory sales kind of like in between the big planter sales, so it's a good time to get it. All right, let's keep going here with the winter sowing. I am now going to do the Pearly Everlasting. There you go, here. And I am very excited to this one actually. I really want to see how they look in the garden. I think these little tiny mini flowers look so cute. I really want to see if they do look like straw flowers. We also got lots of seeds in here. I think they probably also have about 500 seeds, and because they're tiny, these are the smallest ones so far. Oh my god, so tiny. I'm not even gonna try to attempt to show you guys outside of the package, but those are almost as small as poppy seeds, if not smaller, if you have sown poppies before. So I'm going to be careful with these. I'm actually gonna make sure I make this soil nice and even before I add the seeds to it as well. Oh my god, tiny, 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 tiny little seeds. Ooh. I'm just going to sow, I'm not going to sow the whole thing also. Wow, they're so small. It just feels like very fine sand in your hands. Oh, I hope they're good at germinating. Okay. And this one I'm not even going to press because I'm afraid I'm going to misplace them. Just going to also spray the surface real quick. Label again one more time and then put it to the side. Exciting! I'm so excited for this new growing season with all the space that we have, and I really hope that all these natives do well over here and attract lots of good allies to our garden, lots of insects and pollinators and birds and all the other things that will be benefited by having them. Now I'm going to do the Joe Pye Weed, and I have to say I am very excited for this one too, because I was amazed how beautiful they looked when I was in North Carolina, and the amount of butterflies, I think they're the swallowtails, but the yellow ones I think they're called tiger swallowtails, that were just flying around all the time over them was amazing. We went to a friend homestead, so we got a chance to stay there for a couple days, and every time I looked to the Joe Pye Weed I would see lots of butterflies in it, so it's just such a joy, especially early in the morning when I first wake up. So I really hope that they do well here too. I've heard that they might not flower on the first year, so we'll see, but they might if you started early enough. But since I'm using the winter sowing method, I'm not really sure, but I'm just going to sprinkle the seeds as well with this one. I saved some because I might throw some outside too for this. and see how they do. Try to see if they just, how they grow in nature. I'll have to do that like I did with the milkweed soon. So they also get that cold, moisture stratification from outside. We'll think about it. If I do, I'll definitely let you guys know. I'm just gonna water again. So let's label. So with the seed starting videos, I'm gonna try this year. My goal is to try to film everything that I start, but I know that sometimes that's unrealistic. Sometimes I don't have time to film. I have to just start the seeds because the time is coming, but I'm gonna try to do my best to get as much as I can on camera so you guys can accompany the whole cycle of it in my garden. So we're gonna start the seeds together, and we're gonna cultivate them, then we're gonna transplant and go through the whole growing season. So my goal, and I hope that I can accomplish this, is to really try to document as much as I can, even more than I did in the past years. The other one I have here is the blue vervain. This look like this Joe Pye Weed. Okay, and then last but not least, we have 5 of these here. Let's do the lupine, which requires scarification. Oh, they're white seeds. I have seen lupine seeds before, they were black. Oops, I don't want to do all of them either. Those get big, though the seedlings get big, and the seeds big too, so I'm gonna just sow a few. So I have a file here. I'm gonna put my seeds on my table, and I guess one by one, I'm just going to kind of scrape them around the file. My file is not very coarse, so hopefully just a little bit of friction will help. But these are going to stay out for a while, so also hoping that this thaw and freeze cycles will help with breaking the seed coat a little farther and making it a bit softer. And I'm going to poke some holes in it because the seed is bigger, and I guess usually when the seed's bigger it's good to bury it. I'm just gonna do a little bit. I did a little bit with the nasturtium with a similar nail file like this, and it worked out. So you're gonna see. Definitely if I had some sandpaper or something coarser, maybe that would be more effective. But we'll try out and see how it goes. I have extra seeds still in my pack. I'm not doing all of the seeds. I might try to get a sandpaper and start these again, since they only need to be cold stratified for 10 days. I could start a second round. Okay. If you have any experience with growing this native lupine, let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to learn from you. It's my first time growing most of them this year, most of these native seeds. And second time using the winter sowing method, which worked very great for me last year. The seed coats seem to be pretty hard, so hopefully, I'll save these 2 seeds. Hopefully it's going to be okay. I'm going to cover them now with the soil around in the container. And since those seeds are bigger, it will be a little harder to be misplaced. I'm going to just carefully just put a little water, because I did add drainage for holes to the bottom, so I don't want it to drain too much into my towel over here. But that should be good. Our last jug is ready, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just seal all of them now. Now that we have them all sealed and ready to go, let's go outside and take them out together. I'm going to put them together with those over there, and I have been keeping them a bit farther from that wall from the house, because there is a little thing on the ceiling over there that prevents the rain and the snow from falling, and I do want them to get wet and snowed on. And if you look closer to some of these other ones over here, we're gonna come closer in a minute, there is some condensation forming there, which is good. So here's the other ones, and you can see that there's lots of condensation inside. Because we keep the top open, some air can go in and out, and also moisture can go in, which is great. So most of them that are out here have some moisture, which I think it's a good sign. And now I have this many. This is all the native seeds that I have started this year with the intent of supporting our local wildlife and ecosystem. And that will be it for this video today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about anything, please let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you next time.